Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're counting down our picks for the most trying boss battles in video games that leave you with the most awesome loot.
It was fun while it lasted.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Sword Thief, Ghost of Yotei. For as enjoyable as it was playing as Atsu on her road to revenge, we still missed playing as the one and only Jin Sakai. As it happens, Yotei has an entire questline dedicated to his memory, speculating what happened to his story following the end of Ghost of Tsushima. This all culminates at his grave, where Atsu must defeat the Sword Thief to reclaim Jin's signature weapon. The Sword Thief himself, aside from having a bunch of minions on standby, will also use all of Jin's techniques, mixing together nostalgia and challenge. Defeating him won't only snag you Jin's weapon and pieces of his armor, but also unlocks the Dance of Wrath, a skill that can devastate large groups of enemies. Definitely worth the duel.
You learn to fear the Stormblade! Here I come!
Cavalier Angelo, Devil May Cry 5. Dante's new array of devil arms found in his grandiose return were some of the best the series has seen, and while the demonically infused motorcycle may not be the biggest damage dealer in his arsenal, it is the most fun to use. But first, you've got to beat this walking thundercloud. While nowhere near on the same level as someone like Virgil, Cavalier Angelo can still do some major damage if you're caught in the numerous vaults it'll send your way. Keep hacking away, make sure to hit those parries, and you'll be burning rubber before you know it. Callous Harbinger of Annihilating Death, Borderlands 4. You know what you're getting into with Borderlands. Lots and lots of guns. And sometimes, those guns end up being so powerful that they make the rest of the game a cakewalk. Case in point, the Hot Slugger Shotgun. Acquiring it involves throwing yourself at the Harbinger, who can be quite the bullet sponge unless you're already loaded up with endgame breaking weaponry. If you can bounce around long enough to avoid its bombardments and AoE spams, there's a chance it'll drop the Slugger upon death. It is well worth tackling this boss repeatedly until it finally appears, because the Slugger has all the firepower of a shotgun with none of the restrictions in terms of range and speed. Arlecchino, the Blood Artist, Lies of P.
The alchemists offered me nothing but boredom.
Every boss in the Overture DLC has an insanely good weapon waiting to be forged from their remains. And while the Death Talons and Pale Knight are epic, none balance absurd damage with sentimental value quite like the Monad Rose Sword, the weapon that once belonged to Carlo's teacher, Leia, before she was struck down. To earn it involves taking on the murderous puppet Arlecchino, who across 2 bloodthirsty phases puts a lot of Souls bosses to shame. It's more than worth the grind just for the chance to use the sword against Geppetto in the base game's final fight. Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy, Elden Ring. Not to throw any shade at the Serpent King, but most would agree that among the Shard Bearers, he doesn't quite reach the top in terms of punishing gameplay, even though his second phase can be overwhelming if your Tarnished not light on their feet. That being said, besting him can unlock you Elden Ring's arguably most broken weapon, the Blasphemous Blade. This thing is a godsend to those who are struggling, since its special move not only unleashes a wave of flame that can vaporize enemies, but also heals you at the same time. For a sword like that, throwing yourself at a giant snake is a no-brainer. Gunnar, God of War, Ragnarok.
Rise! Rise!
Careful, brother! You're covered in Bifrost!
Anyone who has tussled with this Valkyrie Queen knows just how lethal she can be. After all, she is the final challenge lurking at the end of the game and will rip apart Kratos if you give her an inch. Now imagine her with twice the aggression, twice the speed, and attacks that feel borderline impossible to parry. that's what you get if you fight her again on New Game Plus, which is a requirement if you're going out of your way to unlock the game's best attire, the Armor of Zeus. Which in of itself is quite the gamble, since it not only doubles the damage Kratos can dish out, but also how much he takes. Ludwig the Accursed, Bloodborne.
Have mercy. Have mercy upon us.
A staple throughout From Software's catalogue, at one point or another, you'll always end up encountering a boss that will leave you with some iteration of the Moonlight Greatsword. And for our buck, the one found in Bloodborne comes out the cleanest, given the amount of damage it can provide for strength and arcane builds. There's also the fact you have to defeat Ludwig of all things to claim it. This not only adds much greater significance given the sword's shared history with him, but makes it that much more difficult to unlock, given Ludwig's infamous standing among Bloodborne bosses. Elegy of the Soul, Metaphor, ReFantazio. Anyone who knows anything about JRPGs can always expect there to be a hidden boss locked away, just waiting to be taken down and grant the strongest weapon in the game. When it comes to Metaphor, that would be the Dragon's Legacy, a sword that will not only improve all your stats by a whole 5 points, but also dish out almighty damage with every hit. Getting it, however, is a gauntlet. Not only do you have to defeat the 3 Trial of the Dragon bosses, which are monstrous in their own right, you then have to take on the Elegy, a clone of the main character. The constant switching between archetypes and a litany of hidden victory conditions will ensure that you will have to sweat to unlock that sword. Simon, Clair Obscure, Expedition 33.
He's an old friend of mine. We joined Expedition Zero together. He disappeared and I thought... Looks like he met Claire.
Casually waltzing his way into the pantheon of hardest bosses in modern gaming, Simon is a unit that will destroy you countless times over until you master his mechanics. Even then, he's liable to annihilate your team if you make a single mistake. Beating him is an achievement in of itself, but Simon isn't about to let you walk away empty-handed, as he'll willingly relinquish his sword to Verso before disintegrating. And just like its owner, the Simoso is a killer on the battlefield, capable of making the user immortal if their rank remains at an A or higher, which is nuts. Grym, Baldur's Gate 3. This boss isn't standing between you and a singular weapon or a piece of armor, as it is an entire forge, capable of creating some of the best equipment in the early game. If you want to craft yourself all manner of adamantine items, then you are going to have to slay this golem first. Yes, if you want an easier time, you can lure it over and use the forge hammer to smash it to pieces. Or, if you want to tough it out like a true D&D legend, you can battle Grym mano a mano, who won't take damage unless suffering under the superheat status, meaning one of your party members is going to have to constantly churn out the lava of the forge while the rest of the team whittle away its crazy health pool. Which boss do you think drops the best swag? Let us know in the comments.